Now, we're being joined by lawyer and activist Maxwell Opara to discuss mobilization of civil society organizations against the National Assembly over the demand for e-transmission of election results, the protests at the House of Representatives after the adoption of manual transmission of election results, and what might be next for CSOs with the rejection of their demand. Good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us here on Newsday.
It's my pleasure to be here once again. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now that we've seen the stance that has been adopted in spite of the protests and activities of the CSOs, is there another course of action that might be explored so that we can reach an outcome that leads to fulfillment of your objectives?
Yes, of course. The action of the Senate President yesterday was very unconstitutional. It's a breach of the Constitution, Section 56, Sub 1. Because when the Senate President called for vote, he joined in the voting. You don't vote. The Constitution said that you don't vote, except where they are equal, the votes are equal. You now vote to decide. Immediately he called for vote yesterday, he jumped up from his seat and voted. That one is on that. Then secondly, this is a technical way of institutionalizing electoral fraud in Nigeria. And we're going to say no to that because we are now back to square one. Because it's good that we let people understand what we are even talking about. In the first instance, this adoption of an electoral law now has given not even the INEC, the presiding officer, to decide what is going to do with the result at the polling booth. Now, you are saying that communication failure. What constitutes communication failure? Who is to decide that there is a communication failure? That is the presiding officer. Now, you say that he can, once there is a communication failure, he decides when to upload. So he's not going to upload it in real time. That's why they removed that. So going from the polling booth to the collation center, he can do whatever thing he wants to do with the result. Now, the question there is that if the matter gets to court, you now discover that the paperwork is still what court is going to admit as the primary and authentic result, not what is in the IRF. So these are the reasons why we should continue to fight until they get it right. They know what they are doing because this is they have regrouped themselves to rig themselves back in order to continue looting the treasure of this country. And we want to say no to that. That is what the society group are say fighting, to say no, you must get it right. We elected you there. You do what we want.
Very good. How relevant is the CSO's mobilization and protest over this issue if the National Assembly is still sticking to his guns?
Now, we are calling Mr. President not to sign that tissue paper called law. He should not, because one, the government derives its own power. The executive, the National Assembly, they derive their own power from the Constitution. Whereas the Constitution derives its own power from the people. The people is number one. The people are saying that this is what we want. Because of their own personal, selfish interests, you want to thwart the intention of the people, the good intention of the people, because of their own fraudulent intention. So, and the people are saying that it cannot fly. Now, this is just an avenue of calling for anarchy, because it's going to create more problem there in the polling booth and even in the court for those who cares to go to court. Because from my own little observation, I doubt whether any politician in Nigeria is interested in going to court. They are ready to sort it out, and Nigerians are not ready to go to court. They are ready to sort it out in the polling booth there. So the earlier they get this thing right, go by the wishes of the people, the better for them. So this issue of regrouping to rig election, planning to see how you can outmass the entire public in order to come back, it will not stand. So the protests continue. People should come out, continue to protest, and we have seen those who voted. We saw them yesterday. It's on the internet, it's on the social media. We know those who voted in favor of this fraud, and they are the people that they are representing. They are waiting for them. So the earlier they get it right, the better. So the option now is that let the Mr. President return it back to them and ask them to get it, let them go and do the right thing.
Indeed. Now, Mr. Opara, when you look at the budget by the INEC chairman, Josh Amukpitong, and you see the amount it's well over 800 billion naira. I think the dollar equivalent is about $610 million dollars. And now you're hearing that we're leaning more towards manual transmission. Doesn't it already indicate that the budget does not match the objective if we're leaning towards manual?
Take it again.
All right. In the budget, the INEC budget for the 2027 election, that's about 800 or well over 800 billion naira. I'm saying that when you look at the breakdown, of course, we look at that some of that money goes to BVAS and the likes for electronic purposes for the BVAS machines. And now that we're seeing what's coming out from the Senate and the likes, that they're leaning towards manual transmission of results. Is there not a conflict in that case? Does it now justify that spending that we're about to do with taxpayers' money?
Yes, of course. Well, you see, why we are talking about this issue is because of our previous experience where the immediate past INEC chairman deceived Nigerians and misrepresented what he told Nigerians that he was going to do. On this particular issue, going by the track record of the current INEC chairman, he meant well, he will do well. But what we are saying is that whether the budget, whether the electronic transmission of result budget were included or not, this is what we want. No, of course, had it been that there is a sincerity, we would have said, okay, go. Once there is a failure in the transmission of result electronically, you can go for manual. But because of the criminal tendency, the criminal character of our politicians, they will always catch in every little opportunity they see in our electoral law. That's why we want to make it so that there will be no provision for that. If INEC say that, give me this budget, whether the law or not law, I'm ready to go. There is nothing bad about it. The budget can still stand. After all, remember that it's the judiciary that put us where we are today. Because I can't see the reason why a judge will sit and say that a rules by an institution is not part of the law. And we, the judiciary, every head of court, Supreme Court has Supreme Court rules. Court of Appeal has Court of Appeal rules. FCT High Court, Federal High Court, National Industrial Court, all the courts, they have their own rules made by the court themselves, the heads of the court. They have the power from the Constitution. CBN have their own rules to bring out policies. Why should that of INEC, you now say that of INEC is no longer a law? The judiciary put us into this problem. How did it that the judiciary said, no, your regulations, your rules and regulations, they are the law. I'm a lawyer. If you go to court and you file your processes or you conduct yourself without following the rules of the court, your matter will collapse. So the point we are making is that the INEC still have the power to do whatever thing that they want to do, because when you are talking about communication failure, is the INEC staff or INEC ad hoc staff will tell you that there is a failure. When there is what we call it, communication whatever, it is still INEC. So if the budget captured issue communication activities in the budget, it should stand. But what we are saying is that let us not give them any discretionary power to decide whether to use it or not. That is what we are talking about. It's not as if that the INEC cannot still follow that electronic as as they have decided. But we are saying that since the Supreme Court said that it is not captured in the law, we want it to be captured in the law so that they will not have any discretionary power whatsoever to decide whether to use it or not to use it, to tell us whether there is a communication failure or no communication failure, and to tell us you can post it after 2 days. We are saying post it in real time. That is the position.
Well, all right. You mentioned the fact that the judiciary has a role to play over this matter. Shouldn't the CSOs also advise the judiciary, or at least put a little pressure on them as well, to align with what the people want, you think?
Yes, my dear brother, that is the problem we're having in this country. Even this one I'm even talking about now, I know that after here, people will start calling me, why are you attacking judiciary? Because we don't know how to say it. You have an ample opportunity to say this is the way it's supposed to go. And the judiciary has even made decision. Saying that the three-level framework that guides electoral process in Nigeria is 1, the Constitution; 2, the electoral law; 3, the rules made by the umpire. So, and the Supreme Court now said no, that the rules is no longer part of the law. What they said in their rule is not captured in the Constitution. And you now ask yourself question, most of the things that you say in court rules, do they capture in the Constitution? Are we not using it? We have seen where the court itself nullify a particular matter, dismiss a particular matter because the person who filed the process does not follow the rules of the court. What are we talking about? So they are the people that are creating this problem where we are today. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been here. Had it been that the Supreme Court, in giving judgment, said, no, this is your rules. Your rules form part of the law. Whatever thing that you say and issued out, is it because we're in a banana republic? If it is in a same organization, somebody will take INEC to court for telling us that you're going to... Hello?
No, we're listening.
For issuing a particular policy and people follow the policy, people voted based on your regulations only for the court to say that it is not part of the law. So the judiciary are the people that have created this particular problem now. But here we are today. We are saying that since the Supreme Court have said this is how it's supposed to be, capture it in the electoral law. Why are you running away from doing the good thing, for goodness sake, Abbas and Ababio? What is your problem?
Now, in 30 seconds, Mr. Opara, we've seen the international observers they've consistently condemned manual transmission and are saying that it's vulnerable to fraud. Based on what's played out so far, do you think that Nigeria or those that represent us, supposedly in government, actually care about international credibility, or have politicians decided that, domestic power is worth what some might deem a diplomatic embarrassment? In 30 seconds, please.
Are they? Do they have credibility? Our lawmakers, do they have integrity? They don't care. Don't you see how they are behaving like motor packed out yesterday? They don't care. They don't even know what they are doing to this country, the image of this country. Whatever thing that they are doing in this country, that doesn't concern them. So that is why those of us that feel that we need to get it right, will continue to protest. Let them continue to tear gas. But Mr. President, you should know where he's coming from. We are all in the same place. Before he joined, he should set that particular bill back. He should not sign it. Let them go and do the right thing. That is the position. Thank you.
Very good. On that note, Maxwell Opara, lawyer, activist, would like to thank you very much for your thoughts on those issues. Electoral matter. It's good to have you with us.